The leaders of 7 Arab countries have held talks in Saudi Arabia in an attempt to hash out a plan for the future of Gaza. The gathering in Riyadh was meant to respond to a plan raised by U.S. President Donald Trump for the U.S. to take over Gaza and permanently displace its residents and turn the Palestinian enclave into the Riviera of the Middle East. Egypt began work on a comprehensive, phased plan that seeks to rehabilitate Gaza. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Tamim Khalaf told CBS News the plan will span several years that would entail sequential phases of removing rubble and reconstruction. Whilst the details of the plan are still being thrashed out, the plan discussed in Riyadh is expected to be officially endorsed at an Arab summit scheduled for March 4th in Cairo. U.S. President Donald Trump has already backtracked on his plan to take over the Gaza Strip. "I'll tell you the way to do. It is my plan. I think that's the plan that really works, but I'm not forcing it. I'm just going to sit back and recommend it," Trump said in an interview with Fox News. It's looking more like the U.S. president's original proposal was in order to make his actual proposal seem reasonable, and that is what the Arab leaders are working on. A new UN report has concluded the Syrian economy will not be able to recover fully before 2080, 55 years from now, due to the 14 years of brutal war, which saw the country under relentless sanctions. 14 years of conflict in Syria have undone nearly 4 decades of economic, social, and human capital progress, according to an assessment by the UN Development Program. 9 in 10 Syrians now live in poverty, the UN report estimates, adding that the country's GDP is now less than half of what it was pre-2011, marking a loss of around $800 billion. The report confirms the impact of these economic shocks has been compounded by international isolation, including sanctions, placing additional strain on an already fragile economy. What also didn't help Syria was the U.S. occupation of energy-rich regions, and the looting of Syrian oil inflicted tens of billions worth of losses on the country's energy. Since the fall of the al-Assad regime and the emergence of HTS, sanctions are being slowly lifted, but it may very well take decades before the Syrian people get to any semblance of normalcy. European military chiefs have proposed a plan to deploy 30,000 troops to Ukraine to provide security guarantees as part of a potential future peace deal. The UK and France are leading the discussions about deploying a reassurance force to Ukraine, an idea that's been firmly rejected by Moscow. In response to the report, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reiterated Russia's opposition to the deployment of NATO troops to Ukraine. US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has also ruled out the idea of a NATO deployment to Ukraine, saying if a peacekeeping force is deployed, it must be a non-NATO mission. The revelation comes after British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he was ready to send British troops to Ukraine. While Starmer is eager, others doubt the British military is really up for the deployment. Lord Dannatt, head of the British Army from 2006 to 2009, has said the British military is too run down to lead the mission. "Our military is so run down at the present moment, numerically and as far as capability and equipment is concerned, it would potentially be quite embarrassing. If we were to deploy 10,000 troops, each rotation for 6 months, that would effectively tie up 30,000 or 40,000 troops, and we just haven't got that number available."